I don't think I'm going to get the fourth booster, though. I will say that.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about comedian Heather McDonald asking some questions about the connection between the fall she suffered on stage while performing and the booster she got a little while ago. Now, if you have not seen the video in question, let's start there. You're going to hear what she was talking about. You're going to hear the particular, joke she was making. Then you're going to see what happened, and then we'll continue.
I don't mean to brag. I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, and I'm going to be honest, I have the shingle shot too. And I still get my period. What? Yes! Traveled, went to Mexico twice, did shows, meet and greets, never got COVID. Clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice, so nice.
Now, she joking about, hey, I got this shot, all this, that, and the third. And then just a few seconds later, she's on the ground. Boom. Now, luckily, she is sort of okay. She did fracture her skull, unfortunately. She was in hospital for a while, but she's okay. She didn't actually die or anything like that, so she's fine, relatively speaking. However, if you were to hear that joke she was making and then see her fall on the ground and know that it was a serious thing and it's not something that she just did, it wasn't part of the joke, I think the crowd may have been laughing. It wasn't a joke. She really fell out. So you're going to ask yourself, well, is there a connection between the shots and her falling out? Now, before I continue, I got a little bit of a disclaimer for the internets, for the watchers, for the censors. This video is only entertainment. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. The vax is safe and effective, and it works according to the CDC. Now, as I was saying, there's questions. Now, she went on Dr. Drew's show. I'm not sure if it was a podcast or what have you. And she's asking the questions, and you're going to see in this clip I'm about to play right now what his answer was. And after we get done with that, I'll come back. I'll talk about what he said there. Then I'll give you the rest of my 2 cents and my deep detail analysis. And then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
And I did get the booster, which I had double Pfizer and Moderna booster, 3 weeks to the day of the fall. Is there anything that you've seen about time-wise? Because, when I asked the doctors about that, they said, oh, normally. Okay, go ahead.
2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks is where you see a lot of this stuff. I have a friend that got the booster, and he got really destroyed by it. He still can't walk across the room. He's having all kinds of symptoms. There's a lot of funny stuff. We don't really know what it all is and where it's coming from, but it's still worth doing it. I'm not at the point where I'm saying that it's still worth the risk, but it's got a lot of funny side effects, and syncope, it's called. Fainting is one of them, and I think it's from the POTS syndrome, POTTS. And so, I was worried. What I wanted to check was to make sure you didn't have any evidence of myocarditis. When you were, that's why I wanted that, which is an inflammation of the heart, and it changes the way the heart muscle functions a little bit. And that's why I was red hot on that echocardiogram.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what can I do now? Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm going to get the fourth booster, though. I will say that.
There is not, there's not yet evidence. There's not science for that yet.
I'm done right now.
If you were 80, we'd be talking about it. I literally talked about it to my 75 and 80-year-old patients this morning, that I was telling them, I think you're going to probably need it. You don't need it. There's no evidence for that.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, there is so much to say here. I'm not really sure where to begin. So much to say. First things first, I'm glad she's doing well. That's number one. But number two, I think she is having an awakening. And it's really unfortunate that it took something like this to have her question all of this. Because one thing about it, I'm not saying that the booster did or did not cause this. We'll get to that a little bit later as far as what Dr. Drew said. I'm not saying anything like that because I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But what I am saying is she's at least questioning what's going on, because a lot of people, they just take these things without asking questions, without really doing their own research. Maybe they talk to their doctor. Maybe they'll talk to somebody, but they won't really question it. Like when they're talking to the doctor, they want him to be correct when he's saying you should get it. They want him to be right when he is telling them this will protect you. It'll be okay. Little to no side effects. They want that to be right. They're not coming into it with a critical mind. But now after she fell out, just a little while after getting the shot, now she's like, oh, okay, well, what's going on? Did this cause this? What's happening? She's not had any history of any kind of fainting on stage before. She's a comedian, does it for a living. She knows how to go out there, how to prepare herself. See, it's one thing if you're just having a bad day, or if it's your first time going out there, you're getting nervous. Nah, she's been a comedian for quite a while. She has a whole podcast, a show, has a name. I think she had 2 sold out shows with meet and greets that were already scheduled after she fell on stage. So it wasn't a publicity stunt. It wasn't a ploy to get attention. She was already established. So it'd be no point. It'd be like, to give an easier example, would be Kevin Hart. Now, why would Kevin Hart do something like that when he's already Kevin Hart? He's already in the movies. He already has a career. Why do something like that? It wouldn't make any sense because it wouldn't really help him. If anything, it'd be a distraction. He'll have to focus on that rather than his career making money. So for her, it wouldn't make sense for this to be a PR stunt. And she did go to the hospital. She did suffer a cracked skull, and she did get the shots. Now, I'm glad she's not going to get the next one just because she's awakening and starting to think, well, maybe this might not be the way for me to go. Now, Dr. Drew, what he was saying is, hey, you're not alone. This is kind of a common thing. I'm hearing about people having weird episodes like this 2 to 3 weeks after getting the booster. Okay, again, I'm not saying that it's connected because I don't know that, but I am saying that you have a brand new thing on the market. People are having these episodes happen after they get it. Maybe it's connected, just maybe. Okay, why is it seen as improper to think that? If you're kind of questioning getting the shot or not, and you're seeing that happen, you're like, well, wait a minute. That is kind of a red flag for me. I'm going to go ahead and just not do that. Just like this. How about this? Okay. There was kind of, I don't want to say the restaurant's name because I don't want to attack the restaurant, but let's just say XYZ restaurant. There were some rumors about the restaurant having some tainted food. Just rumors. But then, people that have gone to the restaurant, and then after they go, they talk about, oh, my stomach was hurting and all this, that, and the third. Now, they may have had certain things that could irritate their stomach in general because of the kind of food it is. But also, you've been hearing about the restaurant having problems. And the same kind of food at other spots did not give people the same kind of problems this restaurant did. Because there's other shots out there you can get. There's other types of therapeutics and shots and medications or whatever that don't result in things like this. You don't hear about somebody taking a Tylenol and then 3 weeks later falling out on the stage. You don't really hear about stuff like that. So you start to put 2 and 2 together and be like, wait a minute, maybe the rumors are true. I can't prove it, but the circumstantial evidence lines up and makes sense, right? But I'll move on. The point is that I think there's something here. Where there's smoke, there's fire. That's my humble opinion, right? And then we could talk about other people, not just Heather McDonald, but others. Bob Saget. Now, they said the cause of death for Bob Saget, may he rest in peace. They said the cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head. So it was explained like he fell, hit his head, and went to bed. Like, okay, how did you fall? Why did you fall? Why was the fall so violent that it killed you? Like his brain was bleeding and he died in his sleep as a result of a brain bleed. That kind of force, you need to get hit in the head with a baseball bat, or you need to be beaten, bludgeoned. But they said he just hit his head. How did he hit his head? Why did he hit his head? Did he collapse in the shower? Did he have the booster? I'm just trying to put 2 and 2 together. And we've seen some of these athletes collapse on the field. Maybe they didn't die, but they collapsed on the field. Now, why are you an athlete collapsing on the field? Now, some are going to say, well, they're in, it's a high stress environment. It's the heat, humidity, all that and the third. Well, athletes are used to that kind of stuff. That's why they're athletes. They do that. They train their body for that. But they don't always just fall over just on the field. They don't just collapse like that. That's not that normal. It happens, but it's not as normal as what we've seen lately. The level of it is much more. And we know there's a risk of myocarditis with this particular thing. They've come out and say they're doing trials, or that they're trying to study myocarditis as it relates to the shot and the booster, things of that nature. So if you got myocarditis, that's a possible thing, which means that your heart is inflamed, and that can restrict your blood flow, which could cause you to pass out, right? If you're not getting blood flow to your brain, you on the ground, right? That's usually how that works. If you got low blood pressure, if you're not getting enough blood flow, you're going to fall out. And if you're hitting your head, having blunt force trauma, that can potentially kill you. It cracked her skull because she fell right there on the hardwood. So what about Bob Saget? What about anyone else that has the same experience? I don't know. I'm just asking questions. Hey, I'm no mathematician. I'm no Albert Einstein, but I can add 1 + 1 and get 2. Maybe to some people, 1 + 1 is 15, but I think not. Now, as I close, I'm going to say this. People are starting to wake up, and I hope that people don't have to have this kind of thing happen to them to ask questions, okay? I can't say what happened or why it happened, but look at the evidence, look at the circumstances. Doesn't it make sense to think, that's kind of strange, that's suspicious? Why don't I ask more questions? Why am I going to just take this shot blindly, having blind faith? Ask questions. It's your body. You only get one body, one chance at life. Don't ruin it. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here with Heather McDonald and Bob Saget and other people? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. I'm going to always question everything. I don't just trust things that people say all the time. You know, I'm just not really into it, especially things like this. If it's something small, it doesn't really matter. That's one thing. Like if somebody says they love X, Y, and Z restaurant. Okay, cool. Restaurant's good. I take your word for it. If it's not good, oh, well, it happens. Maybe they like that I didn't. That's a matter of opinion. But something dealing with your life and your health and your body, that's something totally different. And we got to pump the brakes and not be so quick to accept whatever they want to give us from the federales or from these corporations. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.